Okay, so now let's go ahead and talk about drawing through and avoiding tangents. Those are two things that are pretty fundamental to what we do in character design and just creating nice character drawings, whether it be for animation or design or whatever. But it's a fundamental that a lot of people miss, and it's something that you should be aware of. The idea of drawing through is just that. When you're constructing a character, when you're drawing, it really helps to kind of draw through and you know, if you've got, you know, you want to get the body line up, you know, moving up through a drawing. There's all sorts of applications for drawing through, and I'm going to go over some drawings and show you how to do that. And then the other thing too is I want you, as you're creating your character drawings, you really want to avoid tangents, and that's something that a lot of people forget. And it's really, it has a lot to do with clear silhouette, which we go over. But anyway, I'll go over that as well. So why don't we just go ahead and dive in. And I've got a few drawings that I want to talk about. And I'll just give you some examples of real quick examples of drawing through. And then I'm just going to do some new drawing, and I'll go over drawing through and avoiding tangents. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at this. I'm going to go ahead and fill this out just so I can draw over it. And I want you to see, you know, when I'm constructing, when I'm drawing, when I'm creating my characters, I draw through all the time. I don't even think about it anymore. And it's something that a lot of people don't think about. But as I'm constructing my characters here, you can see like the shoulder blades coming down, you know, those big shoulders coming down into the arm mass. Well, I think about that shoulder coming out around and going into that mass too. I draw through. Same with here. Here we've got the back. Well, I think about, okay, there's hips here, and they're going to come down, and that foot comes right out just like so. See there? I think about how that's going to work, drawing through. I envision, it's a way for you to envision what's happening on the other side of an object, let's say this head, so that everything feels connected. You want everything to feel connected. Same thing here, simple as this. This character's taking a pose, this bear, like so, and I have those shoulders coming up. Well, I'm going to draw through and make sure those shoulders line up on the other side so that it all feels connected. You want that anatomy to feel right. You want it all to feel good. Here's some more. Let's look at these elephants and do the same thing. I'm going to fill it up. These little elephant characters that I did. Now that's something I do all the time, especially with these ears. These ears really get in the way, but you want to believe, you want to feel that there's a body behind those ears, right? Well, a lot of the time, I'll draw. I'm not even drawing through, actually. I'll add the ears later, but let's say if you want to put those ears on, then once again, I'm drawing through. I'm thinking about, okay, there's a head back here that connects. There's a neck that goes into the shoulders. And those shoulders come around and connect over here. And this all comes through. Draw through, because then, you know, after I add these ears on, like so, then all I have to do is come in and erase, but then everything feels connected, okay? That's the important thing. That's why you want to draw through. You want to construct your characters so that everything feels connected. Here we've got this little guy looking at us. And once again, I'm thinking about, okay, those shoulders are here, and that backbone comes up and comes over. There's a little elephant body behind those ears. Same thing here. When I drew this character, I thought about, okay, there's his neck coming around this way, like that. And then there's a backbone that goes right into the legs, just like so. Drawing through. Think about drawing through all the time. I'll give you one more example of drawing through. It's very, very important. Here's one with a human character. And once again, let's go ahead and fill that up, fill it out with the gray so we can draw over the top. But this is a prime example of what I'm talking about. Because when I drew this, I drew through. I drew through. So here we've got, whoops. There we go. Here I've got, you know, the back of her head, but I wanted this to feel like it was all connected right on down the line, and I drew it that way. Nice, and it creates a fluidity. Fluid right down through, just like so. I'm drawing through, and then I add her apron and all that kind of stuff right on top. Put the arms on, that sort of thing. But and same with the hair, all of this. Okay, so think about that when you're drawing your characters, when you're laying out the anatomy, all of that. Draw through the character, draw through whatever it is that you need to do in order to keep fluidity and making sure that it all stays connected. Okay, let's talk about avoiding tangents. That's a whole other discussion, and but I think that it goes together with drawing through, because as you're adding the parts, you want to make sure that, and it goes well with silhouette as well, which we talk about. But I want to go in here. I'm going to go ahead and just draw a character, and I'm just going to make something up really quick off the cuff. Let's say I got this guy. Let's say I got this guy, and let's give him a big jaw right here. Maybe he's a villain. Big jaw. There we go. Give him a mohawk. So anyway, I'm getting carried away. Let's say we got this guy like this, and I'm going to go ahead and once again I'm going to draw through. I want to get his body in here. I'm going to get his neck in here. He almost looks like he looks like Popeye. But let's bring his body down. I really can't. I got to change that mouth. I got to change that nose too. There we go. Something that's a little better. There we go. There. We got this guy. There's a shoulder. We'll figure out what to do with his arm here in a second. Nice clean line coming down. I'm drawing through. I'm coming up with simple animatable shapes. I'm going to shrink him up. But let's say I'm just going to let's say he's taking like a kind of a kung fu stance. Coming down like so, drawing very quickly. There we go. The head's a little small, but that's okay because we are going to talk about tangents. But you can see I'm trying to find a nice fluid feel here. And then let's put this arm. See, now I can just attach the arm. There's a shoulder. There, I'll do something like this. There. And we'll get the other arm down in here. There we go. And let's give him a nice big fist. And he's holding, he's holding Nunchucks. Yes, let's give him nunchucks. There we go. And they're swinging around. I'm going to get rid of this thing on his head. Let's give him hair. There we go. He's got hair like this. And he's got nunchucks. Now, I've done this drawing, and as I'm drawing it, I'm thinking about clarity of silhouette. I'm thinking about drawing through, which I've done. But the other thing I'm thinking about is making sure that I don't have any tangents, because, let me show you. If you notice, if I erase this back so that we can see just that arm, there's a nice clarity in having the arm overlap right here. You can really tell that that arm is in front. But I could just as easily have done something like this, and it would have looked really weird. If I had gone, I'm going to draw this body back in, but let's say I then drew the arm in so that it just happened to be coming down like this. I'm just going to scribble in the hand. You know, he's taking kind of this tough guy pose. Like so. Let's say it's something like that. Let's give him some shorts. Notice how this arm feeds right into the line of the leg. There's a tangent right there. It gets really weird. I can't tell. It messes with the eye. Same. There's another example I can use. Let's say I had this nunchuck, and you'd be surprised at how many people I see do this. What if we did the nunchuck so it's like this? It's supposed to be behind him, but all of a sudden there's this tangent here. And that just gets really weird. You have to watch out. You want to keep things open. You want to make sure that you don't have, because it also creates visual tension. And you want to make sure that you're not creating, unless you're doing it on purpose, which there are times to do that. But most of the time, when you're doing something like this, you want to make sure you don't have any visual tension. The other thing, could have gone, if he had brought, let's say the arm was down here, and he's holding, there we go, like so. And he's holding the nunchucks like this, and we get something like that. Now, are the nunchucks in front of the leg? Are they behind the leg? What's going on? And so that's why you want to make clear statements. And by having tangents, a tangent is not a clear statement. And so let's say we have the other nunchuck up here and it's swinging like that, like that. It could be resting on his leg. It could be behind his leg. We're not sure. So you want to make sure that you're making a clear statement. And by having tangents, that's not making a clear statement. So let's say here, I could break the arm out like so. And do something like that. Clear that out. There we go. And there, we've got a nice, clear statement there, like that. Whoops. Too many ribs. Like that. You see that? There's his waistband, and he's kind of taking on a Bruce Lee kind of pose, like that. So you want to make sure that you're not creating tangents. Actually, let me do this. So if I wanted to make this clearer, let's say I wanted to make it clear that the nunchucks are behind his leg. Well, obviously, then all we would have to do is something like this. We could just take this. I'm doing it the roundabout way, but we'll do this. Let's move the pivot point up here. And then I can bring that leg down and get kind of this neat pose You know, where he's almost like Wolverine. He's like that, you know. But now I can clear that out, and now it's clear. It's clear that that nunchuck is behind his leg. We don't have any tangents. It's overlapping. Everything is great. Matter of fact, I could make it even more clear if I made these nunchucks even longer and put it coming out from behind his leg, like so. That's even clearer. You could do something like that. So you want to watch out for tangents, and you want to draw through. Drawing through helps you construct your character. It makes everything feel connected, and you can start with major shapes. So then if I wanted to finish out this guy, now that I've drawn through, I've made sure I don't have any tangents. Well, then it's just a matter of, you know, coming in now and cleaning things up. So now he's ready to fight. There we go. There, see there? So, there we go. You want to draw through to make things feel connected. There. Got a nice look there. And now, because we've gone through, we've made our adjustments, I can come in now. Now look here, look at this. Now here's another tangent that could be awkward. Let's say I finish out drawing in his bicep and I put the other part of his forearm right here. Okay, but now I want to draw in the side of his body. If I start it there, once again, there's this meeting of lines right there that it creates visual tension, and you don't want that all the time. So the best thing to do is I'm going to come in here and I'll draw his forearm in, but then I'll come up here and I'll just adjust it a bit so that it's a nice, clear, we've got a separation there and there's no real visual tension happening. That's the biggest thing. You want, unless you're trying for it, which there are cases every once in a while where you want to draw the eye, and I'll show you one example of that is right here on this on this drawing. We've got a tangent and it's meant to be a focus right here, right there, right where the spoon is just touching her lips. And notice how everything is leading, even the gesture of the body is leading right to that tangent. So there are times that you want to have a tangent, but most of the time, unless you're doing something like this, unless you're doing something like that where you're trying to draw the eye to this area of tension, then you want to be careful and make sure that you're drawing everything cleared out. There we go. There, just like so. Everything cleared out so that it feels clear. Draw it cleared out so it feels clear. You're making a clear statement and you're not creating visual tension where you don't need it. Okay? So that is drawing through and avoiding tangents. Watch out for those tangents. Make a clear statement. Okay? Let's go ahead and move on to the next video.